I paid for this song. I'm going to play the whole song.
Man, it slaps so hard when it gets to that middle part we never make it to. We need to like fade into the theme song like right before that because it is it's killer. We barely ever make it that far into the theme song from Quest, the Adventure Game podcast. Yeah, that's right, podcast. Casting straight to all your pods.
How you doing, Jess?
Ben, I'm fantastic.
I love the pregnant pause that follows. In like all of these podcasts, I feel like that's, you know, the general start. We have this little thing, and then it's like, Jess, how you doing? Ben, pause. I'm great.
That's to acknowledge the comma in our script. When you write this dialogue for the beginning, like what you list is like insipid patter, which I always think is a little demeaning. You know, not just to me, but to our listeners as well. But when you write up the script and it says,
they love this swill.
Yeah, they can't get enough. But you put that comma there, and I want to respect the writing. So it's been, I'm wonderful.
Jess, I just like swallowed a plate of tacos.
Oh man, how many tacos are we talking?
All right, this is your taco dinner. We're talking we're taco in 3.
That's the canonical number of tacos.
That's the, you know, 3 is exactly the right amount. 2 is never enough, and 1 is a snack.
1's a joke. 1's like a cruel joke. I can't eat 1 taco unless it's like the size of 3 tacos.
Yeah, and this is, of course, we had the side of rice and refried beans with a little bit of cheese on top of the beans. You know, this is your classic. I went anytime. So what's your? So you get the three taco order, and typically, you know, they you can pick whatever tacos you want. I am always like, unless I'm feeling really strongly, but I'm always a one of each guy. Like generally like, unless it's like I'm at the place where they're like, oh, the El Pastor is just the best. You have to get the El Pastor. But even then, I'll just do 2 El Pastor and then 1 of something else. Like I can't tolerate getting all in one. So this was a chicken, a steak, and an El Pastor. All of which
that's how you have to do it. Well, I will say that I feel like it is incumbent upon the taco eater that 1 be Al Pastor. I feel like if you don't get Al Pastor, you're really dropping the ball. You see, my go-to, my threesome that I go with, Al Pastor required. I'm usually at my favorite taqueria, and then I'm going to add a birria taco.
Ooh, yeah.
And then for my third, I will typically go with carnitas. That's my threesome that I enjoy. Occasionally I'll swap that out for like a carne asada if I'm feeling especially daring.
Yeah, so this place just had those 3 options. They have other like meats for like other things. This is the place I go, and they have birria. They have queso birria, which I thought about, and then I was like, how awake do I want to be for the podcast I'm going to record in 30 minutes? And I was like, can't have
not birria. Yeah, not that level of not awake. No.
Yeah, it's like a heavy stew covered with cheese.
Hey, see, Ben, I went out for a fancy dinner tonight.
Oh, you are wearing a tux, and I was wondering about that.
I don't know if you've ever been to Five Guys Burgers and Fries, but I dropped a lot of money for a hamburger and French fries there that in hindsight I should have been dressed better for, considering how expensive. Have you heard about this inflation?
Oh, brother.
Yes. Brother, can you spare a dime?
Now here's the thing about Five Guys, which I think we only have one left in Chicago that I could think of. They used to their Five Guys is main. I mean, honestly, they're down to like 3 guys at this point. I also want to know, I don't know if you just heard that mic pop, but I have I'm both of the cats generally do not like to be near me while I'm loudly yelling at the computer.
Yeah.
But this time both of them are on top, like are right here, and one of them just like thwapped the mic with his tail.
Ben, I'm going to speculate it's because you're wearing, and our listeners can't see this, but I can. You're wearing what appears to be a very cozy sweater.
I am wearing a very cozy sweater. And the yeah, the cats love my cozy sweater. Anyway, but five guys, which more like 3 guys, or like 10 guys for the amount you pay these days.
And the amount of French fries they give you. Am I right?
Oh Jesus, it gives you so many fucking fries. Like the one of the things I think about with Five Guys is that they need to get over that they got a bunch of positive reviews in like the Washington Post
in like
25 years ago.
Yeah. It's like, where are all these more recent reviews? You covered your walls in framed reviews from like Northern Virginia Magazine in 2002. Where's the recent one that says in West Virginia, one of the lowest cost of living states in the country, you can charge $14 for a fast food hamburger? I could rent out
less than I paid
Applebee's for $14.
That's less than I paid for a taco dinner in the city of Chicago in Tax, Illinois.
That's right. It's been run by socialist mayors for God knows how long.
I wouldn't call Brandon a socialist, but
more of a communist.
Yeah, that's what I meant. And but that was it was $10.99.
$14 just for the hamburger. That doesn't get you a drink or fries. That's just to enjoy what honestly is like slightly better than a Wendy's burger.
It was Five Guys is a like it honestly surprises me when a Five Guys is around, because it does strike me as an incredible novelty from 20 years ago. Because for those of you who are not familiar with Five Guys, and I haven't had a Five Guys in a very long time.
You're not missing much, Ben.
Is that they're of that burger type where like the burger is like the size of like your like a balled up fist. Like it's a big, like it's a substantive like amount of meat.
It's a lot of burger.
Which like that was in vogue, because the first time I had Five Guys was like I went to school in Virginia. I went to college in Virginia, and so like all of the people in Northern Virginia were like, oh, they just opened up a Five Guys here.
Up here in Nova, we've got Five Guys. What do you have down here? I'm from Swava.
Swava.
I don't care about Nova.
I was in I think actually by the time I graduated, Fredericksburg, where I went to school, was kind of Nova-ish. Anyway,
Northern Virginia, for those who are familiar with the abbreviation.
But like that type of like huge burger that makes you feel terrible was really like, I associate that with the end of the George W. Bush administration and the start of Obama's. And then like somewhere like 10-15 years ago, someone was like, what if we made a burger that didn't make you feel sick? And then we all got really into thin and crispy burgers. And honestly, I'm signed on.
No, it's fine. I don't need the like gut buster.
In Chicago, when I first moved here, like the exciting burger of Chicago in 2007, 2008 was this place called Kuma's, which is still around. And it's this heavy metal bar that made like those massive, like kind of Five Guys style burgers. And I'm pretty sure that's what they still make. And then they're like, and let's cover it with like 5,000 things. Let's cover this burger. And this was the recession. And so it was just like, food.
Lettuce, extra lettuce, I'll take it.
Because it was just like, especially like I didn't have very much money at the time, so it's like, I could just buy this and have one beer, and that's all the sustenance I need for 3 days.
There you go. What are your go-to burger toppings, Ben? You're topping a burger. What are you doing?
I don't even really think about that. Like, like I like
beets.
your classic, like I just want just the lettuce, tomato, a slice of onion. However, like it could be cooked or it could be raw. I'll do it either way.
See, I always like the hamburger cooked, but I appreciate that you'll just take a raw patty.
No, I'll just have
the onion. Okay, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you.
And then
I thought it was like a keto thing or something.
Like cheese and like ketchup and special like mayo or whatever.
I think you complicate it much more than that, and you're making a series of burger mistakes. I don't need pimento cheese on my burger.
Yeah,
I don't need barbecue sauce. No thanks. No thanks. No thanks.
That time in my life has passed. The time in my life where I was crazy about stupid burgers.
Yeah,
it's in the far off past.
I don't need a bourbon sauce on my burger.
Like,
I want mayonnaise. I'm a man.
Give me my nays.
Give me a man's nays, please. We have fun here at Quest.
Yeah, we have fun. Podcast. Yeah. But what's more fun than anything? Getting an email.
Oh man, I do love getting an email. I always think every time I open up my email client and see a bunch of emails, how much I enjoy getting emails. But this is different because these are emails I actually want to read.
This is an email from our friend Todd, and you can send us an email at questquestpodcast@gmail.com. It begins. Hello, Quest. Hello, Ben and Jess, iPod Todd here. June. I just listened to your Quest for Glory 3 podcast with the wonderful Papaya Chemist, and it reminded me of my own experience with the game. I had the game as a kid and enjoyed exploring the bizarre and overworld map, loved the setting. A few years later, when I was definitely old enough to know better, I had an introverted child's game of Hacker. In an introverted child's game of Hacker, I deleted the main data file from the master disc 1 of Quest for Glory 3, leaving me unable to play it for a long time and growing my nostalgia for it. I also fucked around with discs this way as a child.
Oh no.
Terrible.
You know how in all the instruction manuals it always says make a backup copy and play from that? I did that with literally every game I ever owned. I'd be like, all right, Mom, got a new game. Let's head to the store and buy some blank discs so I can play it. No joke. I still have the backup copies of all my Sierra games on 3.5 floppy.
You heard me say under my breath, who is doing that?
This is literally me. Ben,
me.
I follow instructions.
Yeah. Anyway, for me, Quest for Glory 3 was, quote, the game that got away. I wasn't able to play it again until many years later when it showed up on digital storefronts. Anyways, this inspired 2 questions. 1, do either of you have a game that got away in that you had it and enjoyed it, but when you went back to play it, you found it was either lost or damaged, or you lost the copyright protection? Maybe your nostalgia overhyped it when you returned. Like everything. Because unlike Jess, I didn't back up. I didn't back up my games. I lost the manuals all the time. This is I think I've already said this on a past podcast where it's like I lost my manuals to the frequency of, I'm pretty sure that my dad would just like get frustrated with the mess around the computer area and just toss things away.
Yeah.
And that's where the manuals went. Like I don't have anything like backing that up, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened because I never held on to any manuals.
Wow.
And I wasn't like eating them. I wasn't throwing them away.
Yeah.
Where were they going?
Yeah. Where were they going?
But I'm trying to think of anything like specific. Honestly, I mean, do you have an answer while I'm thinking?
You know, I think a game that always fascinated me that kind of got away from me in this way was one of the very first computer games I owned was the 1984 Ghostbusters game, the one by David Crane.
Activision, David Crane.
Yeah, that was ported to everything. I had the Tandy version of that, and it was on a PC booter disc, so just put it in the drive and boot straight to it. And I always loved that game, and I was always obsessed with it and all the management elements of it. And I was terrible at it because the gameplay is really atrocious, other than the driving sim part of it. And one day, it just quit booting for me. And because it was a PC booter and stuff, I don't know if I could have made a backup. I didn't have a backup of it. I think that's the only game. And now it's still kind of a pain to get running here in the present day because DOSBox is kind of fussy with booter disks. You can do it, but I'm too lazy to figure out how to make DOSBox work most of the time. If I can't do it, it's gonna be it's just like, I don't know, I'll probably never play that again. I've gotten that lazy. But yeah, that's one that just one day I wanted to go play, and through no fault of my own, I don't think I got like nacho cheese all over the disc or anything like that. But it just didn't work anymore. How about you? Did you think of any?
I'm gonna be honest. Literally, like every game, like I would end up losing the manual. This is why.
Was there ever a manual you wish that you'd held on to that, like, you really like looking back, that was like a favorite that disappeared mysteriously or anything like that? I mean, we know that we both held on to our Freddy Farkas.
Yeah, for some reason, that's one I still have.
Yeah.
It's stuck to me all these years.
It's comedy gold.
Over 30 years. A manual. I mean, you know what I would love to have is the map of Shapir.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was, I mean, all of those old games, I bought, like, in what, 96, 97, whenever it came out, I got Might and Magic 6, The Mandate of Heaven limited edition, which came not only with a holograph, 2 CDs. So you know what? This is what I want that back, because those CDs were beautiful. Like they had this hologram on the CDs, which looked really cool.
Yeah.
But then also in the box, not only did it come with a cloth map for Might and Magic 6, but because the limited edition came with all 5 previous Might and Magic games as well, it had full color paper maps for the other 5.
Interesting. No, that's pretty nice.
You know what? Actually, I'm not even. Was that in there or was that in some other RPG pack? I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it just had 1 and 2. In any case, I remember I had the maps for my Magic 1 and 2. And I'm pretty sure that came with the limited edition 6. Don't correct me, and I will not issue a correction if that wasn't
never again
in the box. We're never, yeah. But
I love a good map. I think the Shapir map's a great answer. You know, I would love to have that in like a proper poster or cloth form, because I'd love to frame it, but the folded up creased version that's going to come in the box, I think would be hard to get looking really good. I don't know, maybe you could iron it. I'm not going to iron a Shapirian map.
No,
it feels like you're going to summon a genie or something.
And also my Lost Treasures of LucasArts disc, or whatever, like the one that had Monkey Island and Zach McCracken and all those other games I constantly. That was also something I was always. I had the manual forever. The discs stopped working, or at some point. There's a second question though. In 2026, when buying big boxes is popular again in our small circles, how much does it matter if the files on the disc work or not? I assure you this is purely hypothetical, as my copy of Quest for Glory 3 is long gone. but would you actually feel burned if the discs were fine physically, but the files were corrupt? Would you ever even find out? Do you think that would affect the price much? My answer is, like, speaking for myself, I want that box. It'd be nice if they worked, but I don't have an old computer, so
I want them to be in there. Like, I don't want an empty box.
Yeah.
I bought an empty box a few months ago. I bought an empty Gabriel Knight 1 box. Not the cool funky one, just the regular, like, rectangular one.
I had that same box I remember getting for Christmas. The funky box, which was...
Yeah, I had it too.
Not for Gabriel Knight, but for the Incredible Machine.
Oh, yeah. It had the same funky box, right?
The same funky box.
Funky box?
Funky box. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I think that'd be nice. Like, because, yeah, I would want the discs in there.
Yeah, and I actually bought them separately. I was just able to, like, scoop those up and
you got
made
some
a
loose
Frankenstein.
floppies?
Got some loose floppies. You know how it is when you're online, you're just Googling loose floppies. And you eventually end up on eBay. Hashtag loose floppies.
But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm a big fan of. I watch on YouTube LGR, like his videos all the time. I really enjoy his videos, and like there's part of me that like kind of loves this dream of it's like maybe one day I'll go and I'll track down like that Gateway 2000 486 that we had and kind of, you know, recreate or get that like PC Junior that I grew up with, like get computers like that. And then I'm just like, and I think like that would be really cool to have, but also in the videos, he like takes them apart and completely cleans them and makes sure that every component works, does all that. And that's not who I am, and I'll never be that person.
No, same here. I mean, for me, like I said, for the old games, like I want to have the discs, but if those discs are corrupt, if they've been like, you know, stored in a giant box of magnets for the past 25 years or whatever, that's not something that's going to bum me. I like for them to be there for the sense that it's complete, but I'll never know. I don't have a 3.5 inch or 5 1/4 drive. I don't even have a CD-ROM drive anymore. So I'm just going to imagine everything works perfectly.
Anyways, love the pod and looking forward to more dinner updates. iPod Todd.
There you have it. Todd. Thank you, Todd. We appreciate it.
Have you seen this, like this new, I think they were talking about it on our Discord, like the recreation of the Commodore 64.
Oh wait, yes.
Yes. Like that just came out, because there's a lot of stuff like, and I think there was like a Commodore 64 Mini that came out a couple of years ago, if I remember correctly.
That sounds right.
But like this is a Commodore 64 that is like full size, and like apparently the keyboard feels, you know, kind of accurate to a Commodore 64, and the like it works with the, like, you could hook up like a disk drive or a tape drive, it will play the tapes. Well, like you could hook up an old like joystick and that will work. And like, you know, that's another thing where I see it and I'm just like, that does seem kind of cool. And you can also just hook up a USB and like go to, you know, a website and download everesthing and just, you know.
Did you spend a lot of time with the Commodore 64?
I never had a Commodore. We didn't have a Commodore 64. Yeah. That isn't Commodore 64 didn't enter my vocabulary until like this century. Like it was just not a thing. We were always PCs.
The only time I ever messed with one was we had one in my Algebra 2 classroom in high school, like just one in the back of the room that had some like math blasters type games on it. But then I'm like thinking, it's like that would have been like 1994. So, or maybe like 1993. So that Commodore was already pretty old in the tooth by the time I was messing around with it, So yeah, it was never a system that I played with at the time. I do love the aesthetics of a Commodore 64.
Yeah, I love
That's
the
a
aesthetics.
slick looking machine.
It's a cool looking machine, and like I have like I'm intrigued by it, but at the same time I'm like, you don't have any nostalgia for this. This isn't like a thing where like people who are getting this are like picking it up and just being like, it's unlocking an old dusty part of their brain in how, because it like loads into whatever a Commodore 64 would boot into. And like I just wish that I could be nostalgic. Like there's part of me that really wants it, but it's like, Ben, you never had that computer.
You can't be nostalgic. I mean, at some level it's like stolen valor.
Yeah,
you can't be nostalgic for the Commodore 64. You have to be nostalgic for like the Atari Jaguar. I'm sorry,
I didn't have a Jaguar either, but I did have a
Jaguar. I had 4 Jaguars. I had them networked, printer cables just running from one to the next. Daisy chain those bad boys.
Yeah.
Parallel
the
port.
only way you could really enjoy Tempest 2000.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, speaking of daisy chains, what have you been playing?
Oh yeah, I forgot this was a segment. Gosh, I'm still thinking about tacos.
So good.
Ben, lately I wanted to talk about a tabletop game that I've been really enjoying. If you don't mind me breaking format here, I'm going off script.
I've been playing a lot more board games lately too. I've started to revive a board game night, which is like, this is starting to be a breakthrough. You tell yours and then I'll start.
Okay. Have you heard of the card game Art Robbery?
No. Let me look this up.
This is a fun, super simple, super quick card game. Essentially, the premise is you and the other players are part of a group of thieves that have just robbed a museum. And now the goal is, across 4 different rounds, you have to divvy up all the spoils, all the loot
I have
that you
heard
stole.
about this.
Yes.
I think my neighbors.
Yeah.
Because my neighbors in my building are board game people as well. And I think they were telling me about this.
Yeah, so it's a really simple game. Essentially, you play cards almost in like an Uno style to claim these pieces of art in each round. And whoever finishes the game with the most pieces of art claimed is the winner. But along the way, also, you have to balance that against, you have to claim some alibis along the way as well that are worth way fewer points. But if you end the game with the fewest number of alibis, you automatically lose. It turns into a game where basically it's like a no honor among thieves kind of concept. Like someone will take a valuable piece of art from the pile, and then other people will proceed to steal that from them and steal that from the next person. And eventually it's sort of like when a round finally ends, it's whoever was the last person to successfully steal some stuff comes out ahead. But what I love about it is it's one of those games where you're stealing from one another constantly, so it doesn't get that bad feeling that a game like this can get, where it feels like people are getting piled on, or you worked forever to put something together and someone yanks it out from under you. Because it's moving so quickly, those losses feel very temporary. And a full game of this usually lasts like 10 to 15 minutes tops, which means even if you have a round where things go pretty poorly, you're right back into the next game right away. It's very simple, very straightforward, which is kind of what I need out of most tabletop games. Had a lot of success for listeners out there that maybe have younger kids. We played this like ages 10 and up pretty successfully. I think kids can get into it in a pretty fun way. It's a nice, simple, we need to kill a few minutes while we wait for the hot wings to come out of the oven sort of tabletop game.
That reminds me, with these neighbors, and maybe this is what I was thinking of, I played a game recently called Cash and Guns.
Oh.
Which is you're a band of gangsters splitting up the loot.
Interesting. Maybe that's all your neighbors play. What if your neighbors are criminals?
Well, no, but I don't think so. I don't think they had art robbery. I think I was thinking of cashing gas. But it's a very similar. What it is you like. So there is no robbery sequence. It's just divvying up.
Oh, this is too. There's no robbery and art robbery. You're just divvying up the spoils.
And it is like you and you can shoot at each other.
Oh.
During it, and everybody gets a foam gun.
Yeah, this has a lot more moving parts than art robbery, which is basically some cards and just little tokens to represent the art.
But anyway, that's great. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
I highly recommend it. It's like a $15 purchase and super simple to play. Ben, what have you been playing?
Well, I'll note. So it's been very exciting. I've recently, I think, after many years, and this has been a dream of mine. I have a big board game collection. And I used to have a board game night, and then it kind of fell apart. And that was a while ago. And now, like, I just had my third in a week board game night with a friend of mine.
Oh,
and at the end of it, he said, "See you next Wednesday." And I was like, "Do we have a board game night?"
Yeah, this is amazing. This is what we all dream of.
Do I have a board game night again?
Oh man.
And like, because that's been a dream. That's been something I've like kind of reached for.
Yeah.
For like since I lost my board game night, and it's just been kind of like fits and starts. And then, we'd play once, or maybe it was like once a month or something, and then it would just kind of fall apart. But I think we might have a board game night.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Like, so far it's just my friend and I, but we're like, he was like, you should, invite your friends. Anyway.
This is the most dangerous part of a fledgling board game night. All it takes is choosing the one wrong game one time.
Or the one wrong friend.
One wrong friend, that's right. This is where I would probably like go online to like Fiverr or LinkedIn or Tinder or somewhere like that and try to hire a ringer to bring to the board game night to make sure I don't mess this up.
Well, so this friend of mine, like he loves the same kind of chewy big board games that I do, and which is the most exciting part. So it's like, oh, thank God. Like, I have all of these games that cost, like, a lot of money.
Yeah.
That I've all played, like, maybe a couple times many years ago. Because, like, that's the other thing about making a board game night is that it's like, you have to get the friends for that have a stomach.
Yes.
For complexity, if that's the type of, because I've had also like party game nights where I go like kind of lighter, because I do have like, in addition to, usually I'll start with like kind of party games, like kind of be clever games, not apples to apples, but games of that genre.
You love Cards Against Humanity.
Cards Against Humanity was so like at peak Cards Against Humanity, which was what, like 10 years ago?
Yeah, I'd say
maybe 11 or 12, because they had all that stuff around when like Trump got elected, if you remember.
Yeah.
So the first time, and so I'm gonna say like 12 years ago was like kind of peak Cards Against Humanity, and at least like I couldn't go to a party without someone being like, all right, it's time for us to play Cards Against Humanity. And I'd be like, no! And so like when it finally faded away, I was like, thank fucking God. I'm so fucking tired of this shit.
Yeah. Ben, you know what you need to play? Have you tried Kids Against Humanity? The bootleg kids edition of Cards Against Humanity, because it's great. What makes it fun is it has a lot more poo-poo pee-pee jokes, but also fully 25% of the cards aren't compatible with each other. Like the black cards and white cards can't be used to form a complete sentence or thought because they simply don't work together grammatically because it's such a shoddy product. So you need to get on the Kids Against Humanity train where sometimes it doesn't even form a coherent thought.
It's funny because it's like there are games that are like kind of modifications of the apples to apples Cards Against Humanity style, which are like really good and funny. There's this one that I love called Pitch Deck that this is how I eventually started playing apples to apples with my friends anyway, which was that instead of it being an anonymous, you put your card down, it's that you have to defend your card and you have to like, and here's a variation. So for those of you at home, if you have apples to apples, this is the Ben modification. Maybe other people have done this, but this is just something I started doing with my friends many years ago, is that the people, it is no longer anonymous. The people who put down the card have to defend, have to make their argument. And then
if you don't, we clock them in the head with an apple.
And then I came up with another thing to modify this, which is that the person who's the judge gets to make one rule about how the person, like how the people making their pitches can do it. So they could say, you only have 30 seconds, or you can't use the letter R, or you have to do this hopping. Like, just to kind of, because apples to apples, it just needs something else if you've played it a million times. Pitch Deck is essentially that game where you have to defend, like you're making a pitch to investors. Anyway, I didn't even talk about the game I'm playing this week. I'm out today when we record. Perfect Tide Station to Station. Been playing it. Fucking love it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have more to say about it next week. But who knows?
In our Space Quest 4 episode?
Yeah. Maybe I'll fit it in to our episode next week on Space Quest 4. Unless some or maybe not. But let's say odds are that maybe I'll talk about this game next week.
Well, you know what? I refuse.
Well, I think you're going to have to. Also, I'm going to say to, and this will maybe come up next week, but to those of you also playing Perfect Tide Station to Station, keep an eye out for someone that looks like me, because I did that level of Kickstarter. So if you find me,
was actually the protagonist in this one. It's wild. Like I did not expect that, and it's just like, hey, it's me, Ben. I backed this on, and he constantly talks about the Kickstarter, which really takes me out. Like that's my one criticism is I wish that it like Ben as the protagonist wasn't so self-aware. And then he starts talking about how self-aware he is. And that takes me even further. He's like, not only is he talking about the Kickstarter, he's like, boy, I sure am a self-aware protagonist. And it's like, now he's self-aware about being self-aware. This is too many levels of meta.
And then he
tried to Tron me into the video game.
Yeah, I did try to Tron you into the game.
I don't want to be Troned.
Yeah. And then even worse, then I Tron Ares you into the game.
Out of the video game.
Yeah, out of the game.
And then once you Tron's Ares me out of the video game, then you Jumanji'd me into a board game. You Jumanji'd me.
Yeah. It's just been been terrible all around.
It's an ordeal. Do you know the toll that takes on a man's body?
Anyway, Jess, I believe you have a Price is Right for me on the game that we're discussing today. Is that correct?
Incorrect.
Oh,
I like our music this go around, though.
Yeah.
Ben, of course, today, as our listeners already know if they read the title of this episode, we're going to be talking about Discworld. But rather than quiz you on an eBay auction about the 1995 CD-ROM hit Discworld, we're going to go back a few years to 1985. And Ben, I have found a copy of the first commercial Discworld game. That would be
Was this
the
for
Color of
the
Magic.
ZX?
This one, the version that I'm looking at, Ben, that you're going to be taking a guess on, is for the Amstrad CPC.
Okay.
So let me give you the condition. This is a nice cassette version of it. So this is sold on cassette. The version I'm looking at is in a standard plastic cassette box. It's not in any sort of cardboard box or anything. Literally, the cover art is just printed like the liner notes for a 1980s music cassette would be. This is the 1985 Color of Magic for the Amstrad. It looks to be in excellent shape. There's a little bit of yellowing and discoloring, and that's discoloring with a U on the cassette itself. Ben, how much is the Color of Magic?
So they couldn't have made a lot of these.
They couldn't have made.
They couldn't have made a lot of these. And
let me share with you.
This is not supposed to be like. I don't think this game is supposed to be good.
No, I don't think Terry Pratchett cared for it. I've sent you the cover art that's featured here, which is very Discworld. This is the alternative box art.
Cover art on this game is terrible.
What? That's Discworld.
All right, I'm gonna try to. I don't know if I can. Just go to Moby Games if you're listening to this. Pull over your car right now, or if you're listening to us on an iPod because you can't use a connected device, make a note to yourself to look this up later on Moby Games. This is the ZX Spectrum.
Yeah, and it's also the budget re-release. There is a slightly more normal. Like, I'll show you the official one. Like, this is the Ben. I'm going to share with you now. And this is great radio. But I'm going to share with.
I'll just briefly describe. There's like a guy in like the feature character on the Color of Magic cover is a guy like in a robe with a dark cowl, like Bobbin Threadbare, and it's green, and he's the main one. You have a small,
presumably Death, right?
Maybe that. I don't think that's supposed to be Death, because we all know what Death looks like, you know.
Yeah, he's kind of has like a canonical appearance going back to medieval times.
So you have a wizard in red robes, which so that must be Rincewind, but he's old, which is not Rincewind.
Yeah, Merlin-y, very Merlin.
Very Merlin-y. Then you have the luggage, which to its credit gets the luggage right. Luggage is
just as disgusting as you imagine it.
Then Color of Magic, which I haven't read in a while, but my recollection of Color of Magic was there was like kind of a more of a straightforward parody of like kind of the fantasy writing at the time. Yeah. So you have like there's like an attractive woman with a sword kind of kind of spread on a rock. There's like an evil looking imp. Anyway, it's a very funny cover. It does not look anything if you are familiar with Terry Pratchett or the Color of Magic, it does not.
Yeah. Anyway, all the art of Discworld that you've seen in various editions and releases and art books and stuff, it looks like none of that. It looks like a bad comic.
So is that the cover that's used on the
ugly version that you're bidding on right now, Ben?
So so they couldn't have made a lot of these. And now I see the Jess also sent the original cover, which looks much more appropriate. You have Rincewind and Two Flower like kind of zipping through the sky on the luggage. It looks perfectly
Death looks like Death.
Yeah, Death looks like Death.
That one's all fine. Yeah, that one's good. That one's okay.
It looks fine. So anyway, so they could have made a lot of these, but it is also not it's not a game that's supposed to be good. It's supposed to be poor.
Yes.
But it is a rare game based like on like this beloved franchise that like, you know, from a, you know, absolutely beloved and tragically passed author. So there might be, is it shipping out of the UK? It
Shipping
has
out
to
of the
be, right?
UK.
Okay.
Shipping out of Discworld itself, the
Wow.
UK. So there are going to be tariffs. We won't include
Yeah,
tariffs
we
in your
won't.
bid.
Or the shipping, which I'm sure is terrible. I'm gonna say $65.
Ben, you're over. This is an absolute steal. I'm telling you right now, you want this game just for this cover alone.
No, I really don't.
What if I told you you could start your own big box collection, which is ultimately with a very small box in this case,
Yeah.
for a mere $22.82.
I would end up probably spending more on shipping and tariffs.
You absolutely would. Shipping is $24.12.
Yeah.
So shipping is actually like $1.50 more than the game itself.
Yeah.
And then tariffs, which who knows? I mean, that could be
by the time
time it arrives,
by
or
the
very
time
little
this
at all.
podcast comes out, the tariffs could be.
We don't talk enough about tariff policy here on the pod. I feel like this is
that's
something we could
massive. Anyway, so this week we're discussing the game Discworld.
Yes, not Color of Magic. Discworld, Psygnosis's 1995 CD-ROM extravaganza.
So, let's before we even talk about the game, where are you on Discworld?
I am a fan of Discworld.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've probably read half of Discworld yet.
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of jump around to, ones that seem interesting to me,
mm-hmm.
and then ones I find in like a random used bookstore and just can't resist buying for a couple of bucks. That's sort of my metric. It's like either it's one that's like, oh, that one really, really catches my eye, or it was so cheap I have to buy it now that I have to read it. Because I mean, I will say I love all the Discworld I read. Terry Pratchett, amazing author. Of course, I'm not telling anyone who's familiar with his work anything they don't already know. I am very much a City Watch guy and a Moist von Lipwig guy.
Right.
Those are my guys.
I think we talked about this with Richard. I think
we did way back when.
Yeah.
Way back when. Yeah. Those are my Discworld stories. I'm not a big witches guy. I'm not really a big Rincewind guy.
No, I don't care for the Rincewind books. My favorite, I have a couple favorites. Like, obviously, I think my favorite is like Night Watch. I think that's just straightforwardly like of all of the books that I read where I was like, and even at the time, like I think I'll have to check like the first American edition of Night. Like I think I bought that at release and I still have that copy. And I even remember reading it as like a teenager or however old I was when it came out and being like, oh, this book is really special. Like I like reading it and being like, oh, there's something like, he's doing something really special with this book. My other favorite of his is Small Gods. I've always loved Small Gods. I think that's another, those are the two, and I haven't read everything either. There's a lot of them. But of the ones that I've read, which I read them sequentially when I was a teenager up to, I don't know, like a dozen and a half, like, and then like started jumping around. Like the Small Gods was another one where I was reading and I was like, oh, there's something really special happening in this book. Like it kind of reached into me and made me feel things. Discworld is one of those things where like I keep thinking like, I kind of want to go and just buy all of them and just kind of just go for it. I
That would
don't
be a
know if
fun project.
I have a feeling that I would probably first off the first couple books I remember even at the like as a kid reading them or a teenager I didn't particularly care for um but like I have a feeling I'd kind of burn out even like on the really good ones because it's just like reading all of those books like in a row even from like a really great and talented author like Terry Pratchett. I think at a certain point I would just be kind of like, okay, I think I think I'm done here. um uh but I was recently at a used bookstore and I have been on kind of the lookout for Discworld books because I do want to rebuild my collection because I have like a chunk of them that I've like kind of carried with me like since since being a teenager and really getting into
Yeah.
them. Like I've shed a lot of them, but they're like like that copy of Night Watch and some other ones, a really dog-eared copy of Small Gods, some other ones. Like I kind of want to rebuild that collection, but I was at a used bookstore and I was looking, I couldn't find a single. Actually, I've been having a lot of trouble at any used bookstore finding copies, but I was at one in particular. I'm digging, I'm digging, I'm digging. I'm like, damn, I have a single fucking Discworld book. This is crazy. And then I get up, and right next to the register, there's a bunch of Discworld books.
Oh,
And
got it. Got it.
I say to the guy, I'm like, why are all the like I just spent like 15 minutes going all the way through the fantasy section. I couldn't find a single Discworld book. And the guy at the used bookstore was like, those are the ones that people always steal.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. You see, I ran into the problem at some of our local stores where that's something I'm always looking for. I'm like, maybe they'll just be like a Discworld novel that I've never thought about picking up and they'll be there. So I'm at the used bookstore. And occasionally, some of them around here, you'll see them occasionally drift out of the fantasy section into the literature or just fiction section. And that always throws me. I feel like they are at home in the genre category as opposed
I
to
mean,
just like
I get
fiction
why you'd
literature.
want to do that because
I get why
especially
you'd want to
like
do that.
as it goes, like he's a very talented writer.
He
Like
is
he's
more
a
literary
very
in his work than the average person who's like churning out
yeah, and
random Star Wars novel or something like that. Yeah.
like for such a prodigious writer, he
Yeah.
was like someone, of quite remarkable skill. And he yeah, so like I could see it, but at the same time, it's like a lot of it is like parody and like satire. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's not like parody and satire of genre conventions. Sometimes it's parody and satire of the
Modernity.
yeah, of like the concept of money.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Or the existence of a printing press or something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Like the idea of like what makes the something a person. Is this golem a real like,
Yeah.
I haven't read the Feet of Clay in forever. I remember really liking that one.
I
Yeah.
am almost certain. And for some reason, I have like really fuzzy memory around this. I'm almost certain Feet of Clay was my first Discworld novel. I know where I read my first Discworld novel. I taught abroad for a semester in Italy when I was in grad school.
Mhm.
I was in Verona, Italy. And if you want to know what kind of nerd I am, I packed a suitcase full of clothes and a second suitcase full of books I checked out from my university's library before leaving the country. And I probably wasn't supposed to take those abroad, but I
I
was just
wouldn't
like,
think so.
I would want to need something to do while I'm holed up in Italy for a few months, and I'll just take a suitcase full of books and read them all. And I don't know if I'd ever even heard of Discworld at the time. I just grabbed feet of clay at my university because
That's
it
an
looked
interesting one to start with, but I think it's a fine one to start with.
Yeah, I mean, you're diving right into like, the City Watch is already well established, and so a lot of these characters I'm supposed to know, but he doesn't. I mean, it's not bad. I feel like you can jump in. You can jump in. It's not bad. But I think that in the case of like the game, it's an interesting blend in that it's taking Guards, which is a City Watch novel, of course,
1989, I believe.
Yeah, and replacing Sam Vimes, who is the sort of detective who's trying to uncover this secret conspiracy to summon a dragon upon Anhk-Morpork, and replaces him with Rincewind, which I think makes sense. Rincewind makes a lot of sense as a adventure game protagonist.
Let's do a little bit of table setting, an hour into this podcast. So the Discworld obviously is established. It's based on the series of books, these fantasy, like how many books were there? A lot of fucking books.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of books. It's a whole bunch,
and also there were like
turtle
spin-offs, and like there was like a couple like children's books and like illustrated books and stuff like that. But anyway, it's this whole fantasy universe created by this author Terry Pratchett, and within the series of Discworld books, there were a bunch of disparate like mini series.
Yes.
And the first like the initial protagonist of Discworld, like the protagonist of the very first book and the second book is this incompetent coward wizard Rincewind.
Yes.
And but as and like the first couple like the first two books are with Rincewind, and then Rincewind kind of shows up in like in the like the first bunch of books. He kind of makes a bunch of appearances, but as the series goes on, like he shows up kind of less and less until like it's very clear like these other kind of sets of characters and like series kind of supplant him, right? Would that be fair to say?
I think that's a fair way to put it. Yeah, you have, like, as you said, sort of mini series within this. You have some that follow the City Watch, which is basically the police force of Discworld. So you get lots of crime stories and sort of the seedy underbelly of this world. You have some that follow death, the personification of death, which tend to be some of the ones that are a little bit more metaphysical, spiritual in nature. You have some that are following a coven of witches. So you get to see this world of Discworld from a lot of different perspectives throughout this. And usually they're hopping from genre to genre a little bit as these different mini series within the overarching Discworld oeuvre unfold.
And so yeah, so as Jess was saying, like, so one of probably the most popular, I would say, like kind of mini series within his series is the City Watch. And like certain, like my favorite, and I think your favorite, right? Too.
Yeah,
like
I would say so. Yeah.
Very interesting. Like, and I still think about, I think Guards is maybe, which is the first Watch book. It's probably the one that I've read the most. Like, I think I've reread that one a whole bunch of times.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so the Discworld game, as you were saying, takes the plot of Guards, which is that enough people in Anhk-Morpork, which is like kind of the big city, like the London of Discworld, like this massive it's where all roads lead to or all roads lead away from like this massive city, this conglomeration of everybody from all over Discworld lives. And the in guards, there's a conspiracy to like kind of conjure up a dragon, which like kind of becomes a massive problem in this enormous city.
As dragons are wont to do, yeah.
And so they loosely adapt like that book, sort of like the concept of there's a dragon, and that
the
there's a
broad strokes are
conspiracy. But instead of, as you were saying, like just now repeating, but now instead of starring the guards, which maybe they weren't as popular at that point, I don't know. It's now starring Rincewind.
And I think this works because Rincewind, I mean, personality wise, and here in the game he's going to be voiced by Eric Idle, which that's not bad casting if you can lock him down, right?
That was such a thrill to me the very first time I played this.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean that's terrific. I mean it's spot on. And Rincewind is a character who by nature is incompetent, which is a good starting point for a comedy adventure game hero. He also is a character who it feels natural for him to constantly be doing sort of running comedy on the ridiculous things happening around him, which again, not a bad trait in an adventure game character. I can see where the impetus to swap him in here makes sense. He's sort of ready-made for this task. He's a regular Simon the Sorcerer.
And also, like a wizard is more of a adventure game. Like just a wizard, and exactly what you're saying. Like, since he's kind of like a schmuck, he's kind of like a bum. That's a very it's like Guybrush, or
he's
like
very
Roger,
Guybrush-y,
or like a lot of comedy adventure game protagonists are schlubs.
Yeah, you kind of want that. Whereas, Sam Vimes, who would presumably have been the lead if you had stuck closer to guards, is not that character.
No, he's not
he's competent, but he's brooding and a little more cynical in some ways. I think that's what works. I mean, and what's really, I think the strength of this game, and in some ways maybe we'll talk about if it's a weakness too, is Terry Pratchett is going to be closely involved in its development, down to the level of consulting pretty extensively on it, right?
Oh, yeah, I think he consulted on it. I
I
don't know how close. Like, I don't know how closely. I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know. So that's why. Like, it certainly wasn't. It wasn't done without him.
That's right. I kind of get the feeling there's a little bit of that like double-edged sword you got in a game like Hitchhiker's Guide from Infocom, where it's like, oh boy, what makes this game great is the source material it's inspired by, and bringing in that author to help consult on it adds to that, but also maybe is to its detriment as a game separate from the source material it's built on.
Yeah. So when did you first play this game?
Very recently. I mean, this one I think I played I streamed it a couple of years ago.
Right.
And that was the first time. Yeah, first time I'd ever played it.
Okay. Yeah, because I played it for the first time probably within like the peak of my Discworld obsession. Like, I played it in like the early aughts. It was on the website, like the abandonware website, Home of the Underdogs.
Oh, Home of the Underdogs. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Have we ever talked about Home of the Underdogs on this podcast?
Well, I've never pirated software, so I'm not familiar with it.
No. I'm just repeating what I've been told.
What you've heard, from other people who did. Yeah. No, I don't think we have. And I think that still exists. I think it's a shadow of its former self.
Yeah, I haven't. Home of the Underdogs was like the abandonware, like the website where you could download like essentially DOS games that were no longer for sale anywhere.
In an era long before digital storefronts brought a lot of those back. And
in a time where essentially it was just kind of considered like Oh, those things will never be available again.
Yeah.
Like, I just you, you just couldn't buy them anywhere. Like, and the only legal way, and this is still true of some games, like, No One Lives Forever, for example. It's a famous
Yes.
example of a game where it's just like in some sort of legal never be released zone.
One of my
Um,
absolute all-time favorites.
but um like every game that came out on DOS in the year 2002 was just not available for sale anywhere, and the only place that you could find them is on eBay, and you would just have to
Yes.
buy. And then, like, for what it's worth, Home of the Underdogs didn't, like, they would, like, I don't know if DOSBox existed then, I forget. Like, it would point out like some tools on how to get it working, but I mean,
Yeah.
like, you would still have to do some work to get
Yeah,
stuff
that's
stuff
right. Yeah,
working.
these weren't like ready to go like a GOG version or something
No.
like that.
Yeah.
No, I mean these were pre-slapped together, but it was a website that had a reputation of being virus free, which was important for downloading your wares
Very
back in
important.
the day. You don't want to go in some random IRC channel and just take your chances with what somebody's going to send you.
Yeah.
This is
It
this is a website that was reliable, and yeah, I mean it at a time when, like, just knowing this coming from like the Space Quest fan community, copies of the Space Quest collection at the time were selling on eBay for like $300, just because that was the
Now
only
they're
way
selling for
left to legally.
500.
Actually, I think they're cheaper now than
Oh.
they were then. Because for a brief period of time, that was the only way to legally play these games if you didn't happen to already own a physical
And
copy
so
of
those
them.
discs better have been working.
That's right. Back
But
then, it's like, yeah, you needed that to work. Those better have been verified functioning. But yeah, so you picked this one up
they
on Home of the
so they
Underdogs?
had it on Home of the Underdogs, and what was crazy to me about it at the time was not only did they have it on there, but like also, if you got it, like, they compressed the voice audio in with it, which was also like an insane novelty to be able to download, like, at the time. Generally, if you were getting something like that from then, you would get the game, and like the largest file would be whatever the resource file was with all the voice, like, with all the voice work in it. And so usually, like, if you were getting something like that from Home of the Underdogs or a shady IRC, they would just get rid of that resource file. The
Yeah.
game would work. It would just have text,
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
older adventure game. And this came with the voices too. And so I was just like,
That's pretty sweet.
whoa, oh my God, wow. And so yeah, like, and it was like, wait, so there was an adventure game, the genre that I love that they don't make anymore,
Because it's
on this
dead.
new, like, or not new, like, on this, like, new to me, like, series, uh like, and the star is Eric Idle from Monty Python. Like, I
From
was
National Lampoon's European Vacation?
yeah, I I'm not familiar with that at all. I was I was ecstatic. I was just like, holy shit. I didn't like, it was like a thing where, like, I didn't even know about the game. And then, like, the same time that I found out about it was when I was getting it.
That's a good feeling. That's a wonderful feeling. I mean, yeah, that you can't beat that. I think I was completely unaware of Discworld when this came out, but I was like religiously reading magazines, video game magazines at the time. So I would see like ads and reviews of Discworld And I think my brain just said, oh, that's the British Wizard game. And I feel like for the better part of 20 years,
You thought it
I
was
just
Simon the
conflated
Sorcerer?
it completely with Simon the Sorcerer. Like I was like, maybe it's called Simon the Sorcerer in the US before I knew anything about what Discworld was. So this one like flew completely under my radar. It didn't register for me. And then it's curious to return to it years later because again, as someone who now is aware of Discworld and enjoys Discworld quite a bit and comes into this, and you know it's got everybody. It's got Eric Idle, it's got Doctor Who, it's got Black Adder. It probably has a Beatle or two for all I know. It's got everybody British.
Yeah, it's got John Pertwee, the third Doctor,
Yeah,
in it. Who I love John Pertwee. He's great.
Mhm.
His Rob Brydon, who was he in Blackadder or
Probably. If he's not in Doctor Who, probably.
Well, I know him. I've never seen Blackadder, and I know don't send me any emails and be like, oh yeah, you know, just skip the first. I know.
It's probably got like 6 Red Dwarf actors in it. I don't know. You know, I don't know British TV.
But
got,
Rob Brydon, I know from
powers.
the Trip. If you're familiar, have you ever seen any? You just said that you don't watch
I've only
British
seen Euro Trip.
Uh-huh. You should. The Trip is really funny. Either I like. Have you heard of this? The Trip with Rob Brydon and Steve Coogan. They made 4 seasons / movies. They're pretty good. I think you would, Jess. Yeah. I think you'd enjoy The Trip.
You know my hesitancy toward British humor.
I know. The Trip
with a U
is I know. The Trip is a TV show that was adapted into, like, I think when they did American releases, they just did, like, cut it because they were like 6 episode seasons and maybe more. Anyway, they were short seasons, and I have to keep censoring myself because I had to correct myself. I'm never doing that again.
Yeah.
But when they
let you slide
like
way
on
too long,
a re-release, they recut them into just movies. And so that's how I watched the first one as a movie, and I'm kind of like, I feel like this is exactly enough for me. Like I asked a friend of mine, and again, don't send if you prefer the TV show to the movies, I don't need to know.
But if like me, you've never heard of this, we would like to hear from you. questpodcast@gmail.com.
But it's this travelogue show and it's just these 2 middle-aged men going to nice restaurants. The first one is set in the UK. Like then there's one in Italy, and then there's one somewhere else, and it's just these 2 funny kind of ornery middle-aged men going and having nice meals and like busting each other's balls. It's honestly, it's delightful.
Yeah.
It's really like I watched it with my parents when we had a movie night, and they're like, what do you want to watch? And I was like, what's something that is nice and cozy for the parents? And I was like, two pretty funny British guys just making fun of each other for like 2 hours is a nice way to spend an evening.
Last time I had a movie night with my parents, I made them watch Scott Pilgrim versus the World. It's my daughter's favorite movie, and I just wanted to watch them have to try to like process that.
See, you have a very different relationship with your parents.
They hated everything about it. Yeah. Like it was sheer misery for them.
The worst thing that my mom could say about a movie is it's weird. That's her saying, I hated everything about this. If my mom's
review of Scott Pilgrim was, there was a lot going on.
Yeah, see, that's how moms talk.
Yeah.
Is it's like, if my mom says it was weird, that means that she was like, you know, like she would rather have like a poker stuffed in her eye. Like
my parents have never been like movie goers. Like they never go to the theater.
Mhm.
And like the first time in 10 years they went to the theater was to see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And my dad's review of that was too much running around.
It's an Indiana Jones movie.
Ben, I don't know if you've seen Dial of Destiny.
I saw it, and I know you loved it, and I don't care for it, but why I didn't like it was related to running around.
Too much running around.
A like, thing that's featured
why didn't they stand still more?
Do you think your dad was looking at old, decrepit Harrison Ford and going like,
no way he get around like that. Yeah, no. I suspect my own father's vision is so poor. All he could see was just shapes moving around the screen. It probably was very confusing for him. But yeah, too much running around. He was,
you know, like what he meant to say was, "Where's Mutt?"
Where's he? You know, he was a bit. That was the last movie he went to see. Like he was like, okay, I've seen Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I'm not going to a movie again until Mutt is back. That scene where he almost picks up the hat at the end of the movie, and maybe you're like, is the torch being passed, or should I say, is the fedora being passed? My dad was like, yes, get it, Mutt, get it. And then like Harrison Ford just swoops in. He's like, nah, kid, it's still me. I'm Indiana Jones. You get off my nuts.
Get off my nuts, Mutt.
That famous line he had from Air Force One, Harrison Ford.
So, long story short, Discworld isn't a very good game.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna to lay it out here. If the sequel to your game in the manual has like a paragraph at the start that's like, we heard you, this game isn't as hard, something went wrong.
Bad sign. Yeah, if you're apologizing for your first game in the manual for your sequel, you have been. Even Terry Pratchett talked about this. Like, from what I understand, Terry Pratchett like was on Usenet after this came out, like trying to help people.
Is that I have not. Where did you see that?
Yes, I can't remember where I read that. I was reading it earlier today when I was reading about like doing and joking also about like, here's all the puzzles you have to solve to open up the walkthrough. Like joking around about like, I know this is a convoluted game, and I know it's frustrating people. I cannot imagine, even in a world of infinite time of a young child, click everything on everything else. I can't imagine solving this without a walkthrough. It is, I think, of all the like high profile classics, because I think this is a game that gets thrown around as a classic sometimes, whether it deserves that or not. I mean, I think it's one of the best point and click adventure games for the PlayStation 1. But that's our damning with faint praise, I suppose. As far as like a high budget, high profile kind of point and click adventure game, I think more Moon Logic may be in this game than almost, and then lots of like pixel hunt in the most literal. We're talking nearly 1 pixel kind of pixel hunt.
There's some nasty pixel hunting. There's really terrible feedback. Like,
yes,
Rincewind is just constantly telling you that he can't do something.
Yeah,
no. He says that doesn't work.
Yes.
Is what he says.
Incessantly.
I think Francisco Gonzalez in a talk that he gave at maybe one of the adventure game at a adventure game conference or something like that I watched, like he prompted the audience, like he was talking about like video, like adventure game feedback, and just talking about like how frustrating, like everybody hears this when they play Discworld. He prompted the audience to say, what does Discworld, like what do you hear all the time?
No, I mean, and yeah, a lot of it is like Moon Logic based somewhat in the unique sense of humor of Discworld. So you have like a bizarre puzzle. There's time travel in this, and like all time travel adventure game puzzles, eventually you have to go to the past to make it rain in the future, or whatever, because that's just, that's how you do it in a time travel game. There's like this crazy butterfly effect puzzle where you go to the past to make a butterfly flap its wings to make it rain in the present to get a character to move out of the way of some. It gets very convoluted and very difficult to follow. It's definitely that, those sorts of puzzles where you feel like you need to be able to read the mind of the developer to get any kind of purchase, because the game isn't going to signpost you in the right direction necessarily. It takes a game that's charming. It's a great looking game. It's the voice work really is outstanding.
Yeah, when I got it, and by when I mean the person I talked to who used Home of the Underdogs. It what's really cool about the game is that it's beautiful. That it has this great voice work, that it's funny. And after like a couple introductory puzzles, which aren't very hard,
No.
it pretty much just opens up Anhk-Morpork. Like most of the screens, not all of them, but a lot of the game just opens up to you pretty early. And so I didn't, like, once I realized that I was gonna get anywhere with the game itself, and I didn't even bother with a walkthrough. Like, once I realized I wasn't gonna get anywhere with the game, I was just like, I'm just gonna use this as, and I suspect a lot of people did this.
Okay.
This is just, I'm going to get to walk around in one of my favorite little fantasy worlds and talk to, because a lot of the characters from all the Discworld books are in it. And so it's like, oh, I get to talk to like all of these, crazy wizards. I get to meet the patrician. I get to like go to all these places, and
that's an unnamed Captain Carrot over there.
Exactly.
Yeah. I was just thinking the same thing. Like I was getting ready to say before you brought this up, I would be happier with this game if it was like the virtual Springfield of Discworld. I don't need puzzles or even a story. I would just love to be able to wander around this world, interacting with things and talking to. I think that would be a more satisfying experience than the really horrid adventure game that they put together in service of this wonderfully immersive and charming world.
Yeah, and the world is made with such care and love for Discworld that, like, if you get this game today and you're a fan of if you're a fan of Discworld, you should poke around this game, because I think it's a fun afternoon. Like,
I'm glad I played it, and I'm glad I just started with the walkthrough and chugged ahead from there. I think that it saved me. It's one of those games that even with the walkthrough is still a little frustrating at times. But that's always a bummer. But I think there's a lot to get. Again, if you love Discworld already, or if just sort of a little bit of fun British humor is your style. If you want fun British humor and an incompetent wizard protagonist, and
watch the Trip movies.
Yeah, you can't stand the thought of playing Simon the Sorcerer. I mean, I think this is an important baseline to establish. We're saying a lot of bad things about Discworld. Significantly better than Simon the Sorcerer.
Yeah. It's an interesting game, because like, I think I said this on like the New Year's resolution, it's like, I would absolutely not call it a great game, but I would call it something worth checking out. I don't think
it's like a real underdog.
Yeah. I think it was a top dog on Home of the Underdogs. There were top dogs and real dogs, because that was one of the cool things about that website, was that it had like little like critique capsules for everyone, and her favorites were top dogs and the worst the worst of the worst were real dogs.
Yeah.
Seemed the
Ben,
main real dog I remember was this really terrible DOS sex game, which
oh no. Oh no.
yeah.
Ben, on a scale of 1 to 10, to what degree would you say you've got that dog in you?
I barely have that dog in me.
Yeah, you see, I wouldn't think of myself as someone who's got that dog in
No,
me
I don't
either.
have.
That's DAWG.
No,
You got that dog in you.
I don't have that dog. No,
No, that's like the I'm thinking like Georgia Bulldog. Like go dogs.
dog,
You got that dog in you.
dog,
Dog.
dog. You
Hey,
have
hey,
to
Ben,
understand.
Ben.
I'm from the Northeast.
Hey Ben, do you remember this great meme? Would you mind if I pet your dog?
You know, Jess, this is crazy, but you know what? I always check whenever I get a video game to see if I can pet the dog.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Do you think? I mean, do any of them let you?
No, no, not even an adventure game. No game allows you to pet the dog ever.
That's good. Yeah, because I'm kind of like all this like, oh, puppo, doggo. I mean, come on, we're
Pupper.
adults. Yeah, puppers. Oh, it's a I'll give you scritches, and I don't know. Come on.
You know, like the
Now my dog's great.
say what you will, but I would definitely say that the world was a better place, not connected to this, but the world was a better place when we were all a little bit more earnest and less cynical. But that shit was tiresome. The pupper and doggo. Like now that we're all making fun of it in the year 2026, I mean, at the same time, I'd rather be in 2012, I guess. Like,
Yeah, I mean, yes.
not to say that world was perfect either.
Yeah.
There were let's say significant flaws,
But
I think I would rather live in a world where people were saying
with doggos.
doggo and pupper and heckin'.
Oh, that's a heckin' good dog. 11 out of 10.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, too, as a data scientist, the numbers on that we rate dogs thing make no sense.
Really? Is that true?
I mean, first of all, there's some real grade inflation on those. I mean, the mean should be way closer to 5. And I don't know if I ever saw a 5. I don't know what kind of dog would you have to be a 5 on we rate dogs, like Muttley from Wacky Races?
No, Muttley's great.
No, he's evil.
Yeah, but that's
he's an evil dog.
Wonderful.
He wants to see harm done to people. He would wreck cars if he could. I think we've mentioned Muttley before on here.
Oh, yeah. Well, I love talking about Muttley. Is this the least we've talked? No, this is probably not the least we've talked about a game on this podcast.
Well, we did vamp on the eBay thing for like a good 10 minutes, I feel like. So that was almost like talking about the game.
Yeah.
I mean, what else is there to say about this? I mean, it's
an interesting game, but not a good one. You know, get it. Check it out.
Which is better.
Like the adventure game part of it is not particularly good, but the like the kind of getting to inhabit Discworld in a game that, you know, Terry Pratchett had some involvement in.
Yeah. Now, have you played the sequel?
No. And I hear that the sequel, I've heard it was better. If I recall correctly, was it Richard when we spoke with him a while, like a year ago? He was kind of lukewarm. I'm trying to remember where I heard like kind of it's a better game, but it's not a better Discworld game.
Yeah, and then I guess for most aficionados out there, they would say the third game, Discworld Noir, is the best of the bunch, but it's also notoriously hard to get the PC version running in our modern age.
When I've looked at people trying to get it running, some people just go ahead, and it was also ported to the PlayStation, and so they'll just emulate the PlayStation version. But I've heard that Discworld Noir is actually excellent. But I have never played it. And I'm quite intrigued to. I'll have to maybe I'll emulate the PlayStation version. I don't know.
Yeah. I'll just play it on my little handheld device. I'll just PlayStation. I bet it looks great on a 2x2 screen or whatever.
All right.
It's the only way to play adventure games.
Well, this has been a lot of fun talking about Discworld. Thinking about how things that doesn't work. Did anyone get the number of that donkey cart?
Oh, that's a classic. Yeah, get that one in there.
But
I mean, it's fine. It's a game that, like, it's one of those that you look back and it's like, I think people for a while maybe considered this like a undiscovered gem, and I think it's more of a curiosity than a gem.
I would say probably it's more of a quote undiscovered gem if you're an American. I'm pretty sure it was very popular in the United Kingdom. Like,
yeah.
Like, because also, I mean, in 1995, what, like, Discworld books were over here, but I think like their big push was in their big American push.
Yeah.
Was in the 2000s.
Yeah, I would agree. They were over here, but I think when you get like the terrible American covers,
those awful covers.
The ones are all just like generic graphic design-y
like it's
looking
like this
stuff.
like a little piece of like, it's not clip art, but it's like this little bespoke little graphic piece,
like some sort of icon of what the story's about that is like completely devoid of personality.
And they're also like because they did publish them in the US like kind of early on, and they did have like very lush kind of fantasy art.
Yes.
And not, I think, a different artist than the British artist who did it. I mean, I think those like lousy covers, like those lousy covers, I believe that those did sell better. So it was probably a better and cannier marketing move, but like at the same time, like, well, I'm like, oh, I want to buy all the Discworld books. There's also part of me that's like, if I'm gonna, buy the Discworld books, I want to buy like the ones with like the good covers.
Yeah, I wonder if there's been an American re-release. Like, I need a box set with not ugly covers.
I think you gotta buy them on eBay, and they're unbelievably expensive.
I've already spent all my eBay budget for this month on The Color of Magic. And all the tariffs I'm going to have to pay on it.
Yeah.
Tariffs.
Well, this has been Quest, the Adventure Game Podcast. You could always,
I hate you.
You could always catch up with Jess and I on our Twitch streams. I'm PS_Garrick. He's Decaf Jedi. You can get the links in the show notes instead of us spelling it out. But yeah, it's right there. You can also join our Discord, or you can send us an email at questpodcast@gmail.com. And you can join us next week, where, as I was alluding heavily, next week, we're going to talk about Space Quest 4! Okay, so Jess, this is one of my problems with Space Quest 4.
Roger Wilco and the Time Rippers?
Yeah. So one of my problems with Space Quest 4, Roger Wilco and the Time Rippers, is that I don't buy the sequels being Space Quest sequels.
This is, I think, a very fair criticism that gets overlooked by a lot of people who talk about Space Quest 4.
Are you making fun of me?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I'm not sure if that was making fun of or not. Like, I was like, are you putting me? Because.
Oh, no, this is a really original insight, Ben. Please, no. Please continue.
Because I feel like
No, I know what you mean
might
here.
be funnier. And listen, I'm not gonna write the game I would rather it be. It's the game that it is. It's just that I think like Latex Babes of Estros is not, it would never be a Space Quest sequel, even that many iterations. Or if it is one, then we should see the sequel where Space Quest becomes a series about tracking down like babes on the babe planet. Like,
oh, man. Imagine how good that would be.
Like it's like we go there and like Roger's like, wait, this is what my future adventures are like. Like I go to the sexy girl planet. This is, like it just kind of like that doesn't feel like a Space Quest sequel to me. And I want to like it because Latex Babes of Estros is like a parody of a parody.
Yeah, and
because it's a reference to
the source. Yeah,
the Infocom game.
Yeah, Leather Goddess
itself is a joke.
Yeah, I mean, what bothers me about it is that it implies maybe that Roger's not a virgin, and I don't know if I want to play that game at that point.